one moment when the grain industry and grain processing industry comes together, not just to do business, but to learn, connect, and move the industry forward. That moment is GEAPS Exchange. In this episode of the Whole Grain Podcast, we're dedicating the entire conversation to the premier event in the grain and grain processing industries, GEAPS Exchange 2026, coming up February 21st through the 24th in Kansas City. This isn't just a trade show. It's education, innovation, workforce development, and community all in one place. I'm joined by Bob Horvat, President of the GEAPS International Board of Directors, Manufacturing Tech Lead at Cargill, and a longtime GEAPS member and volunteer leader. Together, we'll explore why GEAPS Exchange exists, who it's for, and how attendees, from first-timers to seasoned veterans, can get the most value from their experience. And just like recent episodes, we'll wrap up with reflection questions you can use with your team to turn this conversation into action back at your facility. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to the show. Welcome to the Whole Grain Podcast. We use this platform to explore the people, innovations, and trends shaping the grain handling and processing industry. The Whole Grain Podcast brings grain professionals like you together from 99 countries from around the world. My name is Jim Lenz, your host and Director of Global Education and Training at GEAPS, where the mission of the Grain Elevator and Processing Society is to champion, connect, and serve the global grain industry and our members. Today's episode is a little different. It's very intentional. We're focusing entirely on GEAPS Exchange 2026, the one time each year when the grain community gathers in one place to learn, connect, and solve real-world challenges together. From the Expo Hall and innovation stations to education sessions, networking events, and the relationships that last long after the show ends, this episode will help you understand why GEAPS Exchange matters and how to make it work for you. All that and more coming up next. Today's episode is a little different. We're dedicating the entire conversation to one of the most important events in the grain and grain processing industries, GEAPS Exchange. We're talking about GEAPS Exchange 2026 coming up February 21st through the 24th at the Kansas City Convention Center. GEAPS Exchange isn't just a trade show, it's education, innovation, workforce development, and community all coming together in one place. I'm joined by a terrific guest, Bob Horvat. Bob is President of the GEAPS International Board of Directors. Thank you so much for making this episode of the GEAPS Whole Grain Podcast so special and sharing your insights with our listeners.
Jim, thank you. I have always enjoyed listening to the Whole Grain Podcast since you started this a couple years ago, and I'm honored to be a guest. It's my first time, and this will be a lot of fun. It's early January, and we're all coming out of the holiday break. Momentum for Exchange is really starting to build now, and so it's a really exciting time of year for GEAPS.
Now, Bob, let's start with the big picture. When someone asks about GEAPS Exchange and why it exists, how do you answer that?
Yeah, sure. Big picture. So let's look at the GEAPS mission statement, which is GEAPS champions, connects, and serves the global grain industry and its members. So in essence, GEAPS, we are the global grain community. And Exchange is where the global grain community comes together to show that agriculture matters, relationships matter, and knowledge matters. So that's it, Jim. If you want a big picture, it's where the grain community comes together.
From a board and member perspective, why does Exchange matter?
Sure. I'll take each perspective, take a little different tact on each one. So first, from a member perspective, of course, GEAPS is more than just Exchange. Throughout the year, GEAPS members gather together in person for various regional events like chapter meetings, maintenance days, golf outings. Golf outings are one of the most popular activities within GEAPS, especially during the summertime. And we also gather together virtually for webinars, distance education courses, and so forth. But Exchange is that one time a year where all GEAPS members have the opportunity to gather together at the same place at the same time. We can meet new people, connect with old friends, and learn from each other. The popularity of Exchange proves that meeting face-to-face is still a very important format.
All right. And from a board perspective then?
Sure. From a board's perspective, roughly half of our GEAPS members are what we classify as associates. Associates are the members that supply products, materials, and services to the grain and grain processing industry. The GEAPS associates invest lots of time, dollars, and resources to GEAPS Exchange and to GEAPS in general throughout the year. Exchange is a big opportunity for them to showcase themselves, thank customers, and connect with new potential customers. So it's really, really important that we have a well-organized, first-class, world-class event for those associates, since they contribute so much to GEAPS throughout the year.
Like a lot of people, they keep coming back to Exchange year after year. For you personally, what does Exchange mean to you?
Exchange always reminds me how large the grain and grain processing industry is and the opportunities that are out there for careers. So when I'm on the Expo Hall and I look around and I see thousands of people, I'm just reminded that they're all there because of the grain industry. They all have good careers, good paying jobs, great opportunities because of this industry. And it's not just our individual jobs. Each job supports a family. It supports local communities, which then support small businesses. So it's really a broad universe that is impacted by the grain industry. The work of feeding and fueling the world is never going to end. We always need to eat. It'll never go away. There's great opportunities there. But of course, it will evolve over time and change. And Exchange is the place to learn and discuss how those changes impact the world and each of us individually. Also, I get reminded that relationships matter. Business is never just transactional. Sure, that's part of business, of course, but it's the folks you meet at Exchange. Those are the folks that you can reach out to day to day when you need help solving a problem, you need some advice, maybe you need to buy a spare part from them, or maybe you just need somebody to talk to. Those are the folks that you meet at Exchange. Those are the contacts you make. So that's what Exchange means to me, Jim. There's two things: opportunities and relationships.
Absolutely. I think that's a common thread I hear from folks as well who've attended that event. We'll be right back after a message from today's sponsor. Located in Sioux Center, Iowa, Interstates offers electrical construction, electrical engineering, and control system solutions. For over 70 years, they have tackled complex challenges and developed innovative solutions for grain handling facilities around the country. Interstates brings their clients a wide breadth of experience in the grains industry, from greenfield builds to supporting for existing facilities, including upgrades, service calls, and ongoing maintenance. They do what it takes to deliver your project on schedule, on budget, and on target with your needs. Visit them at the GEAPS Exchange booth 1011 or contact them today at interstates.com. Now, just to inform listeners a little bit, can you describe the value for operations, maintenance, safety, and processing? And really, there are 5 tracks that are involved with Exchange.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, the Expo Hall has something, it'll have something for everybody. But the education sessions and innovation stations have been grouped into 5 tracks, which are processing, maintenance, grain operations, safety, and employee development, which is really revolves around leadership. Attendees can just focus on one track, maybe the one that they're most associated with on their daily roles, or maybe the role they would like to have, or they could sample from all of them. It's very flexible. You choose your own path here. Across the 3 days of Exchange, there are multiple sessions within each track. So every day there's something for everybody.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will take advantage of all the different offerings we have there. I think what's interesting is what happens when they return home. How does Exchange help people after they return home from the event?
There's really several things that come to mind there, Jim. First off is enthusiasm will follow you home. You'll feel energized about your work and about the industry in general, and you should be more motivated in your role, in your day-to-day role. You also bring back new ideas that can make the job place safer, more efficient, maybe a new product, a new service provider, things that you can bring to your supervisor and say, hey, look what I learned. We should think about this. Companies are always looking to innovate and grow and get better and be more efficient. Boy, efficiency is a huge word these days. So they're going to love that when you come back with some new ideas. You'll also retain knowledge of what you learned on the show floor, or the education sessions, or the live innovation stations. Maybe most importantly of all is you'll make connections. Again, you'll know who to call when you need assistance or you have questions during your day-to-day job.
That's a great summary, Bob. New knowledge gained, great insights. You're making some connections. The grain industry feels smaller, and you come out enthused. You're enthused when you're there, and it's a great way to support yourself in your personal professional development and, of course, support your organization, the grain industry as a whole. Now, let's look at education at Exchange. Tell our listeners what opportunities exist. What does it really look like at Exchange?
Education Exchange will come in several different formats, and just cover those here. First, you're going to have, of course, your traditional classroom style. I'll call them lectures, where there are presenters on stage. They'll give a presentation. They'll take questions from the audience. Traditional learning format. Those sessions are, we remember the schedule, if I remember correctly, this year they're going to be held on Mondays and Tuesday mornings of Exchange prior to the Expo Hall opening. So it doesn't compete with the Expo Hall, it's prior to the Expo Hall opening. Another learning format we have is what we call our innovation stations. And those are located on the Expo Hall floor. And most will have a demonstration that goes along with presentation or a lecture. These occur throughout the day. And like I said, they're right on the Expo Hall floor. Also, we'll have a few interactive or hands-on learning opportunities. We'll have a grain bin rescue and safety demonstration. And so that'll focus on the risks of grain engulfment in, let's say, inside, if you were engulfed in grain inside a storage bin, along with rescue and prevention practices. And this is a live demo, so they're gonna look for people out of the audience. You can go up there. They'll help you. There'll be people there. It's a controlled environment, so of course it's safe. But you can become, you'll somewhat feel like you would if you were becoming engulfed in grain, and then they'll demonstrate how people are rescued from a grain engulfment. And we also have a few interactive or hands-on learning opportunities, which will also be out on the Expo Hall floor. One of those will be a grain rescue and safety demonstration. So this will focus on the risks of grain engulfment along with rescue and prevention practices. You'll get a chance to actually do this hands-on. They'll look for volunteers from the audience. You can go up on the display and get harnessed up, and they'll semi-engulf you in grain. It'll be very safe. It's under a controlled environment, but you'll get the feel for what it's like to be engulfed in grain, and then they'll demonstrate rescue techniques. It's very powerful. And a new one this year is it's a play on words. It's What Could Go Wrong demonstration trailer. This is going to be an interesting one. Like I said, it's new. I'm interested in seeing this one myself, but it's going to examine the hazards of working near live electrical lines. We haven't had that before. Another significant hazard that we see in the workplace. As I mentioned, there's 5 education tracks: processing, maintenance, grain operations, safety, and employee development.
These are all really rich, diverse, and have different points of delivery for education, as you stated. And so it is really an exciting experience just for education. Some of those things are in the trade show floor and the Expo Hall. And you've seen this too when you watch people come up the escalator for the first time and the Expo Hall floor. It really is amazing. It's fun to see their reactions from this. So if you could give our listeners, maybe who haven't attended this event before, how should they approach the Expo Hall if they're a first timer, or even for those who are returning attendees as well?
Oh, sure. So I would tell everybody, sign up for the full conference, the whole package, and plan ahead. For first timers, go to as many events as possible. Get a flavor for it, get a feel for it, see what GEAPS is all about, but just you get the opportunity to be there. So take it all in. Start with the first timers reception and the Get Acquainted party, which are both on Saturday evening. And then don't miss, there's a keynote speaker on Sunday morning, which is prior to the Expo Hall opening. So you won't have anything else to do. So come to the keynote speakers. It's very motivational. The speakers are always great every year. I think we have I forget the gentleman's name this year, but he's a fighter pilot, Top Gun style guy. So it's going to be great, I'm sure. I'm sure he'll be very disciplined and give a great presentation.
Captain Jack Becker is his name.
And it'll be a great way to kick off Exchange prior to the Expo Hall opening. With 400 plus exhibitors on Expo Hall, it will be overwhelming without some pre-planning. So before you arrive, I highly recommend you get on the GEAPS.com website. You could download the Expo Hall floor map, and then you could kind of plan out a walking route. And each different exhibitor or booth or innovation station is listed on there. So you can kind of plan it out, maybe highlight who you want to talk to. It'll just help you. And then bring a good pair of shoes. Also, GEAPS feeds you, so you don't have to leave the Expo Hall during the late day. You don't have to worry about it. There's lunch and refreshments will be served each day. And then for returning attendees, I'd recommend the same things, but I'd also recommend or challenge you to talk to someone you don't know. It's really natural for you or all of us. We're going to go to our friends, the folks we work with all the time, and I'm going to do that, of course, spend some time with those folks. I don't get to see them face to face that often. Email them, we text each other, we talk on the phone, but seeing them face to face is special. So of course I'm going to go visit those folks. But also remember, you're there to learn. So visit some new folks, visit 3, 4, 5, 6 new places, get some new ideas. I guarantee it doesn't matter how many times you've been there, there's going to be something new. So make sure you keep learning, keep progressing in your career.
We'll be right back after a message from today's sponsor. IBT Industrial Solutions has been your expert and product support partner in the grain industry for over 75 years. They solve the hard problems that keep your business running. As a one-stop shop for products and services ranging from motion amplification to conveyance solutions, they also stock product inventory from over 1,200 suppliers available now at one of their 37 locations across the Midwest. Come visit IBT Solutions at the GEAPS Exchange, booth 2702, or go to ibtinc.com/crane. IBT Industrial Solutions, your trusted grain industry partner. Absolutely. It all makes sense. A lot of vendors and suppliers there to help you with questions and projects that are going on or we'll work on in the future. There's more to that than just education and checking out with vendors. It's about making a connection. Like you said before, we have a lot of community and special events. I mean, Exchange is known for its energy and community. It's about making the global industry feel smaller and more connected. And outside of the 45 hours of education, the 400 plus vendors and suppliers from the industry and the trade show floor, what are some additional exciting opportunities that GEAPS creates to make people feel welcome and to say, this is your extended grain industry family? I mean, how does GEAPS create a sense of community and collaboration at Exchange?
I mentioned a little bit earlier that relationships matter, and this proves it with a number of events just dedicated to networking and socializing. That's a big reason that people go to Exchange, a big reason why people want to return to Exchange. I'll just highlight a couple of those. We have our first timer and international attendee mixer, we call it. So that's Saturday evening. It's prior to the Get Acquainted party. It's the mixers are just a smaller, more intimate gathering where attendees, first timers, international attendees can be greeted and mingle with GEAPS volunteer leaders and staff. It's a really nice time. That's followed by the Get Acquainted party. So this is one that everybody should attend. So if you go to Exchange, you should go to this one. Very popular, held on Saturday evening prior to Exchange. This year it's going to be held off-site, meaning it's not at the Expo Hall, so it's off-site. It will be at the J. Rieger and Company Distillery. I've never been there before. It's a historic distillery in Kansas City. Looks like a really classy venue. Can hardly wait to visit. We'll have food, beverages, tours, and other activities. And Jim, I believe there's transportation to and from the, let's say, the host hotels near the Expo Hall.
Yes, that's correct.
Another event that'll be held is the welcome reception. So this is actually in the Expo Hall, and that's at the end of the first day, which is Sunday. You can enjoy appetizers and beverages while you continue visiting the booths. It's kind of a great way to celebrate the first day of Exchange. On Sunday morning at 6 a.m., there's going to be a fun run walk. On Sunday morning at 6 a.m., there's what we call the fun run/walk. Now, I guarantee you this will have the lowest turnout of any event at Exchange, given the time, but it has the most dedicated attendees, guarantee you, and the fittest. So it's a 5K route through downtown Kansas City. You know, the walking route might be a little shorter than that. I'm not sure I'm up for the 5K, but I'll be down there to greet everybody bright and early, Sunday morning, 6 a.m. with a cup of coffee.
And then don't forget about the cornhole tournament. That's actually a big event, been very popular, friendly little competition right there on the Expo Hall.
That's right, Jim. Yes, the cornhole event or bags. We can debate that. I guess it depends where you're at regionally. So another fun thing to do. But yes, the GEAPS members can form teams and a tournament takes place, like as you mentioned, on the Expo Hall floor. I've watched some of these participants, and when they're not at work, I know what they're doing. They're throwing bags, playing cornhole, because some of these folks are awfully good. But it's everybody's welcome. So whether you're great or not, join in the fun.
That's fantastic. We also have Grain Merchandisers Network event. Tell us about that.
Yeah, something new. It'll be reception held on the Expo Hall floor at the Expo Lounge Sunday afternoon. Now, GEAPS historically is focused on grain or operations, but there are so many other layers and functions to the grain industry. And grain merchandising is just integral to everything. So we know that merchants attend Exchange. And so this year we're having a gathering for the merchants. They can kind of meet and mingle, compare notes, and discuss the industry in general. By the way, the schedule and the location and other details for all of these events can be found under GEAPS.com under the GEAPS Exchange link.
And then closing out the event, We have the popular music bingo. It's been going on for a couple of years. This is our third year with that. It's been a big hit, and a lot of our vendors and suppliers have helped with that with all great prizes. And if any vendors and suppliers are listening to this episode, we certainly appreciate any prizes that you may want to donate for that big event. Tell us some more about that.
Music bingo, as you said, third year in a row. It's growing. I think it's around to stay. It just seems like a great time for people to kind of exhale. The work is done, exchange is closed, and let's just have some fun. And who doesn't like bingo and music? What a great combination, and just a great way to round out the week.
Now, people are asking, is it for me? Who should attend, and how do they get the most value?
Well, the answer is everybody should attend. Exchange is built for everyone, whether it's your first time, your 31st time. There's something for everyone, for every job function, and wherever you're at in your career.
And how should one plan ahead and get maximum value from attending?
Jim, Exchange is already a value. It really is. An all access pass if you're a GEAPS member is $450. And I said all access. So that's all of the events, the get acquainted party, the keynote speech, the Expo Hall, everything. $450 for a GEAPS member, $680 for a non-member. My recommendation is become a GEAPS member, because first year GEAPS membership is $250. Then you can register for Exchange for $450. You almost make up that cost difference between the Exchange entry fee for a non-member and a member. So why not become a GEAPS member for a year? We'd love to have you. What we want to do is convince you to remain a GEAPS member. So become a GEAPS member and get a discount. It's a double benefit. Early bird registration ends January 27th. I'd also recommend you pre-register. You can register on site, but it's just so much easier. Register online, get all that stuff out of the way, and then you have a really short, a couple minutes registration, and you don't have to wait in line. When you get to the event, you can head right in. As we have already discussed, you get what you put into this. So if you're going to invest the time and the resources to get down to Kansas City and attend an event, put some time, invest some time in it, and plan your days prior to arriving at the show.
Thank you so much. It's been great to get listeners who have not heard about Exchange, get them some more information. You've been great. Any closing thoughts, Bob? Any calls to action?
Yeah, I do have a closing thought, Jim. I've been in this industry a long time. And really from day one, I felt it was a very friendly industry. People really, truly trying to help me and support me. Yes, many of us are competitors, and we compete vigorously. Some of us trade employees back and forth, and that's all okay. That's business. That's how it works. That's life. But we also look for each other. We help each other develop our careers and our leadership skills. When you attend Exchange, you'll feel that. You'll feel that friendly atmosphere from the time you walk in the door till the time you leave. And that's what GEAPS is all about. And I know if you attend, you'll feel the same way. So I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone in Kansas City at the end of February. We've got 400 plus exhibitors, over 45 hours of top-notch education. We're aiming to top 4,000 attendees. We almost did it last year. We're going to do it this year. This is going to be the year. Exchange 2026 will be bigger than better. It's a premier event for the grain and grain processing industry. You'll see. You don't want to miss it. It's first class. It's world class.
Great thoughts there. Again, it's GEAPS.com/exchange. You can check out the schedule. You can check out the speakers, types of attendees or exhibitors, and different things you can register for, as Bob just alluded to. Again, it's February 21st through the 24th of 2026 in Kansas City Convention Center. So I encourage you and your team to register and find out more information. Bob, you've been such a great contributor to the grain industry as a whole, obviously to your organization as well, but to GEAPS, from helping questions that come in, obviously with your role on the board and with committees, with course development. You've been fantastic, and it's an honor to get to know someone of your professional talent and have great respect for you. And it's so nice to have you as a guest finally here on the GEAPS Whole Grain Podcast. That wraps up today's episode of the GEAPS Whole Grain Podcast. A big thank you to Bob Horvat, President of the GEAPS International Board of Directors, for joining us and sharing his perspective on why GEAPS Exchange continues to matter to members, to the industry, and to the future of grain and grain processing. As we heard today, GEAPS Exchange is far more than a trade show. It's where education meets innovation, where problems get solved, careers grow, and the global grain community comes together face to face, whether you work in operations, maintenance, safety, processing, leadership, or supply and service. Exchange is designed to deliver real value you can take home and apply. Before we close, I'd like to leave you with a few reflection questions and encourage you to discuss them with your team. How could attending GEAPS Exchange help you or your team solve a current challenge at your facility? Which education tracks, processing, maintenance, grain operations, safety, or employee development would bring the most immediate value to your role? Who on your team would benefit most from the connections and learning opportunities at Exchange? And finally, what steps can you take now to plan ahead and make the most of your time in Kansas City? Remember, GEAPS offers year-round resources to support your growth, including online and on-demand courses, hands-on training programs, a searchable library of 200-plus industry videos, webinars that are interactive, a globally recognized credentialing program, a digital grain glossary, local chapters, and our Next Generation Path program for interns and early career professionals. And of course, don't miss GEAPS Exchange 2026, February 21st through the 24th at the Kansas City Convention Center with 400 plus exhibitors, 45 hours of education, innovation stations, and unmatched networking. It's the premier event for grain and grain processing industry. Visit GEAPS.com, that's GEAPS.com to learn more, register, and start planning your experience. I'm Jim Lenz, Director of Global Education and Training at GEAPS. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep feeding, fueling, and clothing the world.